Hi everybody, so in this video I'm going to actually redo a video I did previously. Maybe you haven't seen it, but so I'm going to replace it with this one. But yeah, so at this point I have my chassis built here. I have like the basic chassis built, I have my motors in place, and I really want to do the rest of this. So I'm going to start adding in some of these parts. Again, this is for the V2 robot. I might make a separate one for the V3, but here we go. So we have a few parts in here that we need to assemble. I think, let's see, I think I need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. I need the collar, the bearing, the D shaft, the hyper hub, and the miter gear. So let me go up to here. I want to go through this process of adding all. I think I'm just going to grab all these pieces and add them in there. Just do it once, and then I don't have to do it again. So I'm going to go in here to insert. I'm going to look into other documents. I'm going to make sure I go home. I found that if I go into this, Indigo Builda, and I search directly from here, I'll have the best chance of getting this. Also, I found that if my PDF is open in Chrome, I can actually copy and paste directly from here. If we're using Preview or something like that on a Mac, it doesn't work out as well. There's some other ways we could open this that would also get access to copying it, but it's so much easier if we can just copy and paste it. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to try and choose the one that's not in progress. I don't know necessarily that it matters, but I just think, I don't think it's going to change anything, but I do think that some of the progress ones seems like they're, I don't know, just seems like they're a little bit off. Or they might be hard to deal with because they're not like finished products. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there on shape side of things. But let's grab those two. What else do we need? I'm going to pause it maybe for a second. You've seen what I've done twice. I'm going to do this 3 more times for the clamping, D shaft, and what else did I need? Something else in there. I'll find it. All right, so I'm coming back into it. I have 3 pieces. I just added the collar, I think, while I was off here. But actually, I'm going to add in the bearing in here. I need to add in, maybe that's the one I was missing just a second ago, but the bearing. So I copied this SKU in here. I got this, and also here, like it's going to show some parts. I don't want to use the parts. I want to really go into the assemblies and pull in the assembly. So it's going to be like a collection of parts because there's like individual parts in here. I want to pull the whole thing into that. All right, so, and let's see in here, that should be good for that. Let me pause it again. I'll get my last piece in. Again, let me pull, I'll just show you just because I think I have seen students do this wrong too. Just like when you're getting the D shaft or any of this stuff, I just think it's so much easier to just get the SKU more than anything else. Maybe as you get more comfortable, we can search, you can be comfortable finding the right piece, but this just seems like such a kind of no-brainer to get this in here. Because even look at this. Even that's not no-brainer. I shouldn't say that because this is 100 millimeters in length. Is that what I wanted here? Oh, it is 100 millimeters. Okay, I think one of the other pieces is 80. So we'll do 100, grab that in there, and then I have all my pieces. All right, so now let's start putting these pieces together. I need to do a couple things first. This might be, I'm trying to make this video short, but I'm gonna get these 2 pieces together. Let's see what I can do here. I think the easiest way to get these 2, I need to look at where the teeth are facing. Okay, the teeth on this are facing towards the hyper hub. I'm not gonna bother with the screws. So let's go in here and we will go into, oh, I always do that. I accidentally cancel an import. I'm gonna go in here to fasten. I'm gonna choose this, the top of this. Oh, see, I think I selected that whole thing. I don't really want that. Let me try and grab just this circle. And then I want to go wherever I put this thing. I need to mount this onto one of these. So I'm going to mount this onto here. I'm try and do, yeah, there we go. Get as much of the circle as I can. I'm going to line this up. It's not quite right on there. I had some issues getting this just exactly right. Technically, if the screws are off, I guess we wouldn't really care. But I do care about getting this as close as I can to getting this right. So let's do fasten mate. I wonder if it was, let's try that again. Oh, you know what? Let me try different one of these holes. I'm going to try this one. Sometimes I just feel like based on the geometry of it, based on how it's going to like kind of put the parts together, it might behave a little bit differently depending which one I choose. All right, so now I did see, and I think I noticed this before, I didn't kind of picked up on it, but that's actually facing the wrong way. So I need to flip this to make sure that the teeth are facing towards the hyper hub. That looks good. Let's see if we can do a little rotation on here to get this into place. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. I'll let you know what I come up with for a good answer here. I mean, there's definitely, I don't really need to have the screws lined up, but I want to get this right. All right, sometimes the simplest answer is the best. I ended up just choosing this. I chose this circle. And then I made onto here, onto that circle. And then when I flipped it, everything lined up. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason, I think, to why these things end up where like these holes are now lined up. Because really, this mating these 2 pieces together could have put the kind of 2 circles in any kind of orientation. But it just so happened that this one worked out. There's other things I could have done to make sure it's really exactly lined up, but this ended up working out, so we'll go with that for an easy answer here. That looks good to me. So it was like a little bit raised, but I think that's just the nature of how these things go. All right, so that part looks good. Got that one. Let's move on to the next one. We need to add in, I'm going to do this piece next, and then I'm going to, then I'll add this on here. So I'm going to get these parts together. I'm not going to include the shim. That's a mechanical piece. I mean, maybe, yeah, I don't think it's worth having that level of detail on here. What's going on here? I must have put in 2 of these collars. You can see 2 of these same things. So let me just right click on here, delete that thing. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to put this shaft, you can't quite see it here, but if you look here, you can see this shaft right here, this D shaft going across here. I think it's going to, in my mind, it's going to go all the way to the end of this collar, and it's going to be flush with the end of that. And it's going to be inside of the collar, but then the ends are going to be flush with each other. So I'm going to do a little fancy tool on here, one maybe I don't know if we've used so far in the videos or not. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to say a planar mate. So planar mate means I'm going to take, if I haven't talked about it before, it means this surface and whatever other surface I select are going to be in the same plane. If you're not sure what that means, it basically just means that if we laid a sheet of paper across the end of one of these pieces, it would also lay across the other end. They're kind of in the same, in the same plane, we would call it. So in here, that means like I can grab, if I grab one of these parts, I can grab it, I can slide it. That's fine. Like they can move in any direction within this plane as long as these 2 faces are still in alignment. If we look down the flat down one, we should see flat down the other. Okay, so that's one alignment that we can do. The next thing we need to do is really get these to be in the right position. I'm going to say that they should be, I'm going to say cylindrical mate. I'm going to select this cylinder, and I'm going to select the inside of this thing. And then if I just do that, I mean, okay, that is going to end up working. I'm going to hit solve to show, it's going to kind of try and resolve the conflicts between a planar mate and the cylindrical mate. And if we solve it, we can see, okay, here's the answer. Here's how we can satisfy both of those conditions, both planar and cylindrical. Now if we hit okay, that should be good in there. Now, I think if I grab this piece, these 2 should be locked together. I'm going to escape, grab this thing, slide it. Yeah, they're going to be locked together due to the kind of combination of those 2 mates working together. Next up, we need to add in the bearing. So I'm going to take this bearing, I'm going to put it over to here, and I'm going to lock this bearing onto the end. If we go back to our assembly, I don't know if you can you can see how this bearing is on here. This is a flanged bearing, which means like there's that little lip to this. And that lip is going to go, if we look at our diagram here, the lip is going to go kind of between the collar. It's going to go like collar, lip, wall of the U-channel. So let's go into here. So this thing should be matched up with this piece over here. And I might do the same thing. Let's try and do a planar mate. I think sometimes this thing separates into parts, but let's grab that as a planar mate, and let's grab this as a planar mate. Let's try and hit solve. I think, oh, that's going to work out. Okay, good. Those 2 parts are still together. Sometimes this part seems like it disappears. I was going to fix that if it popped up, but again, this by itself is not enough. We have the bearing. It's now in the same plane, but they're not in the same location. So let me go into cylindrical mate. Maybe this is where it's going to mess up. I'm going to select the inside of this, and I'm going to select the outside of this, and those 2 things are going to match on. Now, if it's solve, yeah, they're all going to get latched onto the end there. And it's just what I want. And that's where I'm going to stop the video for this one, for this replacement talk about gears. Let's see. I think next up, I do have I'm starting to build up some stuff in my assembly. I'm going to want to finish this. I want to get these parts together, and then I'm going to make a sub-assembly. Actually, real quick, let's get these parts. Let me see one other thing, just to get these into one video. I'm going to slide this. I'm actually going to put these 2 as cylindrical mates. I think that's a quick enough thing to do. Yeah, I could probably select this as cylindrical, and then I could select this as cylindrical, and then solve, and we should be good there. I think that's fine, and I think I can also, like, if I escape out of this, I should be able to grab this piece, and I can, like, drag it up and down. Okay, so it's locked in there at least, and then we can work on positioning it next time. So let's stop there, and we'll start a new one in just a second.